Hi, Luminaires! This is the energy update for December 2020. My name is Maitland, and I am trance channeling through Jamie. And Colleen Ziegler is in the room, and the Luminaires are behind the camera and on their keyboards. Hi, everybody! Everywhere from Canada, hi Australia, New Zealand, hi Japan and Germany and UK and Ireland. You guys, hi. And South Africa and South America.
Everyone is saying hello. Lots of highs.
Okay, there is so much to say, and I really meant it when I said you probably need to stretch. I want to talk about your physical body right away because December is going to challenge it. If you watched last month's when I said that the energy is going to well up inside of you and just kind of gently grab your neck and go, hey, who are you? And kind of challenge you a lot. Well, the physical body is kind of going to get a little tight for December. What's happening is your expansion that you're going through, it makes you feel like your 3D body is a little too small, like you're a turtle outgrowing the shell or a hermit crab outgrowing the shell. And guess what? You don't get a new one, so you really need to slow down and focus on the one that you have. Going to be important. Okay, let's talk about that because December is going to give you a big boost, lots of aha moments, and a lot of I know it and I can see it and I'm connecting to it. So that aha moment is really like a claircognizant burst. That's really what an aha moment is. It's like, ba-bum, and the lights come on and you're like, I see, I feel, I know everything at this moment. And I want you to be able to keep it long term. But what's happening, because mass consciousness is increasing, which means that more humans are thinking the same, feeling the same, creating same goals. So we're manifesting and heading in the same way. But the thing that's different about it now, because of 2020's pandemic, quarantine, these drastic shifts, what's different is that we're not doing it in a 3D kind of a way. 3D. When I'm talking about 3D, it means three-dimensional, third dimension. And it means that you're more focused on the physical things, the body, the materials, the what am I going to get out of this? It's it's kind of like survival mode. Do you know when you're like, oh, I need to take these right actions so I stay safe, or I need to work very hard so that I can make the money. I need to give a gift so somebody can see that I love them. That's a very 3D, very human expression of life, and we're crawling out of that. So what I'm saying is the mass consciousness that's happening now is crawling out of a 3D human function, and we're not as interested. I say we like I'm on Earth. We're not as interested in the 3D thinking, and we're getting more interested in how do you feel? And what are you thinking? And those things are more 4D, 5D. So emotions transcend the third dimensional plane. So this whole time that you were getting more fine-tuned with how do you feel and what are you thinking and how are you aligning? Remember how we use the word, what do you resonate with, right? If it doesn't resonate with you, don't do it. If it doesn't feel good to you, don't do it. And we don't mean that in a very selfish way. We're trying to mean that in a way where we're like, hey, you don't have to do it in a 3D way anymore. You can do it in a 4D, 5D, higher dimensional way, which is raising your vibrations, raise the vibes, and how we talk about that. So you can see all the pieces are coming together, right? It's starting to click for you a little bit more. Your dream state is more heightened. It's like an extension of you rather than a fantasy of you. And your daydreams are becoming more clear. Notice how they're getting a little bit more spatial or more global. And they're not so much about fantasy, like, I wish I could go on vacation and escape. It's more like, how do I feel about this? And why am I feeling this way? It's like we're instinctively encouraged to go self-inward and grow rather than try to spend that time daydreaming, escaping it. It's happening because of that mass consciousness. Many more thousands and millions of people are starting to tap into feelings. Why am I feeling this way? And becoming more humanitarian focused. They're understanding, you on earth are understanding the difference between I as a singular word, because you've been trained that I is a singular word, because there's no word for I and it has an S on it, eyes, because then you would think of eyes. But like the eyes as a unity, that's what you're feeling. And it's really, really powerful. So a lot of you who have developed your intuitive abilities, whether it's claircognizant, clairaudient, clairvoyant, clair sensitive, clairolfactory, clairgusto, where you can taste things, in the 3D sense, you might look back on your life and say, I had to work really hard in shifting my perspective and my viewpoint of life and energy and how that feels. And then I made a really good relationship with it and I know how to do it. And then all of a sudden in the last few months, you're like, I try to tap in and I just don't know what I'm feeling. I don't know what I'm seeing. It's really squirrely, meaning it changes its like feelings often, and you don't know how to tap into it. And you think, am I losing my abilities? Am I losing my mind? And you're not. What's happening are a few things, which in essence is the same thing, but I'm going to break it down in a few different ways. So what you've learned in your 3D existence, a lower vibrational, which doesn't mean bad. It just means that's where you were. That's where the earth was. That's where the mass consciousness was. I got to get up and be human. I got to pay attention. How am I dressing? How is my money status? How is my house? How is the things I own? How are the things I own? And that was very important, and that was very desired to live that way. That was successful. And those definitions are changing. So now your approach with your abilities and your intuitive and your sensitivities are changing as well, because the mass approach to life on earth is shifting. So you'll feel maybe a little unsettled on your feet. And the translation of this is that it's kind of like getting your boat legs. Is that what you call it? When you're on a boat really a long time, you kind of feel like this. And then you get off the boat and you're on earth, which is like very stable, but you still feel like this. It's kind of like how your abilities are going to be. So you are using your abilities in your 3D way. And then you have these jumps, more aha moments. Like I mentioned, the more aha moments and the more like clarity and this whole like bursts of claircognizant, just wow. And then you're like, I get it, I understand it. And then what happens to it? Like 2 days later, 3 days later, you're like, it makes no sense. I don't understand it anymore. 3 days ago, it was the most amazing experience I ever had. And I said to myself, this is going to change who I am for a lifetime. And then 3 days later, you're like, I don't even understand how I thought that. I can't even connect to it anymore. It seems so far away. Why can't I feel like this? And you think that it's you, right? Oh, I can't. Why? I'm just falling off my abilities. This isn't good. It's not really you. It is you jumping dimensional planes, existence. And when you do that, you kind of jump time frames. And we talked a tiny bit last month about time frames, like parallel lives, which is what you call past lives and future lives. They're just incarnations because time is not linear. We're at beginning, middle, and time is like stacked. Whoop. And you think of all your books of your lives, all your incarnations. Well, now when you jump your consciousness levels, which is dimensional planes, your awareness, you can jump from book to book. And you can blend those qualities of your other lives, past lives and future lives, into your current life. Colleen's having a very hard time.
I have a tickle in my throat that I'm trying to repress.
Get it.
I'm just going to get it out.
Get it.
Thank you.
Do you want to? I like my dad could do it so well, and it sounded like he could tickle his lungs. It was like a deep thing.
It started as soon as you came in, and I was like, oh no, I got a tickle in my throat. Okay, I'm fine. I've got my water. Now that we know it's me in the background making gruffing noises.
Or it could be me as a ventriloquist, also
Yes.
coughing off camera.
Exactly.
Do you want a peppermint or some chewing gum?
I'm going to go get a peppermint. That's a great idea. You continue.
I used to love peppermints. I will not eat a peppermint while I'm in the body. So you still with me? I like this live thing. Maybe we do it like this from here on out. I would like your suggestions on if you like the live conversation or if you like it when it's recorded. It's still going to be recorded, and we'll come back in and Jamie will, I won't, and she'll edit some of the things out, so it'll be a nice recording in the end. It won't be like another live stream where you hear our chatter like this.
I'm so
glad
that's
you just interesting.
said that she wants to edit it because I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay. That's going to change how I do things at the end.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, that makes sense.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So we were talking about parallel lives and how when you're shifting your consciousness for those aha moments, those bursts of claircognizant clarity, boom, and then you kind of fall back down. This transition is just like coming off a boat for a really long time and getting on ground and still having sea legs or vice versa. It just takes a moment to understand where you're coming from and what's happening. And when you have those bursts, that's also an opportunity for that expansion into leaning into other incarnations of you. I mention this because when you lose those aha moments and you kind of come back into 3D, that knowledge that you had a moment ago, it doesn't really make sense to you. And that's been happening for like maybe as long as you can remember. But it's going to be maybe a little bit more frustrating because you're going to have more aha moments, more clarity, more claircognizant, definite download moments. And then you go, that's perfect. That's what I want. And I'm going to react on that. And you go to react on it and you're like, but I can't remember. What in the world? It's so crazy. I'm losing my mind. I'm going nutty. And I don't feel good about it. And I want to ask spirit about it. And you try to tap into spirit. And what they say is not really making sense. So when you find yourself in those deeper frustration moments with your own abilities in December, take a breath. Stretch your body. It's like you're outgrowing your physical body. Because what's happening, those jumps, pretty soon we're not going to be falling back into the 3D as much. We're not going to be coming off of it. We're not going to have the woozy. We're not going to have the, I don't understand it anymore. What we're going to have is, oh. And all of a sudden, this oh moment where you're maintaining your aha moment, that's the big enlightenment shift, is your thoughts and your cognizance is not going to be so much in your body. It's like it's going to live right outside your body. So you know the energy field and the aura that you've maybe seen, felt, studied, saw pictures of, kind of understand, but not really, that thing, that is where you are going to move into. You're not going to just say, here's my physical body, and I stop right here at the tips of the hairs on my body, and I quit there. You're aware of these layers, but you're not so aware of how you can use them and how they merge with other things and how you can collect information like that. I mean, that energy layer out here, it's like the big Smithsonian library. It has every book and every ounce of knowledge in it, and it can expand and go into remote viewing, astral body projection. It can transcend other dimensions. It's all been accessible to you, but consciousness on earth has been held low for a reason. Some of you don't stay low, but I'm speaking in general. So now December is going to go, oh, and it's going to give us a boost up. And of course, change comes with a little frustration. Remember, jumping between the 4, 5, 6D back to the 3D body. And when you get frustrated, I want you to breathe and stretch. And I would love for you to say, okay, when that happens, I know that there will be another moment where it will not happen. And in that other moment, when I'm not frustrated, which might be 5 minutes down the road, because time's not linear, but I'm going to pretend like it is. It might be just the next day. It might be the next week. And then when you come out of it, then you can take that information that you had that was causing frustration and then drop it in when you're back into that 5D kind of awareness, and it'll start to make sense for you again. So it's a practice of learning where to now move from and ground yourself from. But the thing that keeps bringing us back is this mass consciousness, mass awareness on the earth. It's transforming. And what's nice is when we get up into those cognizant bursts, those aha moments that provide us such clarity and foresight, that we then are more humanitarian and we start looking at life all over, not just human life, all life, tree life, plant life, animal life, insect life, 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 life. So when this change is happening, we have these really cool creativity moments on earth. Oh, like in the Renaissance time where like music and art and strolling in nature and learning about plant life and botanical names was very important and saw like very wonderful and chic. It's like we're getting back into the Renaissance time. And a lot of inventions, a lot of new ways of living life are going to be downloaded in December, just like dropped in. So when you're getting those big ideas and you're like, oh, that's the way that we can use electricity, or that's the way that I can paint that thing, and that's how I can do my house, go for it. These things are changing how we live this kind of next phase, this next generation in 2021 into like 2026, this next like 5-6 year burst. The arts are coming back because we see that it's so important. Arts, music, all of that puts us in the 4-5D. It puts us into this higher thought and this emotional expression. So it makes sense. It's going hand in hand. And that's going to support really our sacral chakra. That's the orange one beneath the belly button. So when you're having the bursts of energy, it's like giving birth. It's like birth to new concepts, new ideas, designs, color uses. And you might get these sudden urges to like redesign or paint a wall or get a new car, or just like trade out things that aren't resonating with you anymore, that don't feel good to you anymore. And you're going to think, this is crazy because I want to get away from all this material stuff. And now all of a sudden I'm collecting it. But it's not that you're collecting it. It's you're trading out your 3D vibrations for higher vibration. Okay. Then the chakra that's going to be challenged the most is going to be the solar plexus, the who am I, which was kind of like November's message, where the energy inside of you kind of comes up and it's like, why are we this way? What are we doing? It's still kind of continuing that way because you're deciding, how am I going to be me, and me with my ability, like foundation completely rooted in intuition and feeling. And that when somebody comes to me with this great idea, or life says, you've got to get up and go to work and have a routine and pay these bills and do these things and be submissive to this, which the example I gave last month was how the media and news systems are sensationalizing and doing agendas and trying to persuade or manipulate the way that people think or behave. And that when we increase our claircognizant awareness, which goes into 4D, 5D, more humanitarian, we're going to start collecting ideas together and going, we're not going to take this anymore. We want truth. We want fact. Because then we can take that and translate it into the energy that we need to move forward in our life. We don't need to be fed how to behave or how to think, because we're growing away from that. And my example in November was that masses of people are going to get together and sign documents that says that we need news channels to only deliver factual information without agenda, without sensationalizing, without exaggerating, without manipulating, and that that's going to change those kinds of ways that we live from 3D to 4, 5D. So when we rally, what was I going to say? We're changing out our 3D to 4D ways. So when you're looking at your life and you get really excited that way, that's going to translate over. But who are you? When you're being offered this information, you're going to go, no, I don't want to do that. Whereas maybe last month you were like all in it. You're like, I will bathe in that and I will eat it the next day, even when it's cold. And now you're like, I don't even want it. People are like, who are you? You're like, that doesn't work for me anymore. And I don't know why. And it's going to be really hard to kind of explain why. And you might feel like you're disassociating to your life. And, you know, the psychologists and the study of the psyche have come up with so many terms for mental illness and mental disease. And you're going to maybe worry about if that's happening to you. Am I really losing my mind? Am I having a psychotic breakdown because I'm not behaving the way that I was before? And when you have those deeper questions about your psyche and your behavior, the first and foremost thing that we would ask you to do is to really ask, like, are you safe? Are you really taking care of yourself, and are you safe? And if you can't answer those, we do want you to lean on another mind, a therapist, a life coach, a psychologist that resonates with you. We don't want you to take the journey on your own, because this phase is not taking the journey on your own. We're taking it in mass consciousness. So the solar plexus is going to be challenged, especially about your choices and how you show up. And the one that's going to be needed the most is the heart again. And I would actually kind of pair the heart and the throat together. And if you were looking for a stone to carry around, I would do like a chrysocolla and a malachite blend. They have them where they grow together, and they're very, very pretty. The chrysocolla and the malachite, it's a deep green and a bright blue, and they meld together almost like marble. That would be very, very, very helpful. And if you wanted to carry it around like a lime or a lemon chrysoprase, which is like a really bright stone, that would help your solar plexus too. And of course, I like fire carnelian for anything that is sacral chakra, to really zap it into gear, because you're going to be giving birth to all these new ideas, and very inventive, very creative, and your imagination like comes alive in December. Yay! And then, okay, going back to how the throat and the heart are going to be needed the most, because you're going to be requested and required to check in with how you feel and share it. And that's the bottom line. I mean, I could go on and give metaphors and stories about it, but really, that's what it is. How do you feel? And not how do you think you feel, or what do you feel like? Those aren't it. So, you're wrong if you're going to do it. So you can't say, I feel like poop, because that is not a feeling. That is a descriptive word of maybe how you feel, but it can be so mistranslated. So you would have to say, I feel, and then insert a feeling word. That's going to be important. And by reacting from your heart, you're going to make this transition in December a little easier. The one other thing I want to talk about is December 21st. That's the solstice. And there's going to be a really incredible event astrologically on the solstice with Jupiter and Saturn and all the planets lining up. Like all the moons are going to be on one side of the sun, and all the planets are going to be on the other side. And Aquarian energy is just kind of rolling in a different way, and some other shifts are happening. But it's all about getting what you want, or getting what you need. It's time to be super, super, super clear, especially in your relationships. Like, what do you really want to manifest? And so I'm going to ask that on the 20th day of December, that you clear out your thoughts. Make this day a day of no complaints. Complaining doesn't really help. It just highlights that which you don't like or work well with. So why are we talking about that? This is the whole act of enlightenment and moving into higher dimensional planes, is that we don't live from our thoughts, and we don't live from survival mode. We don't live from what was my mistake and what was wrong and how can I make it better. That's very 3D. We don't live with how can I show my love to her? I will buy a ring. I will buy flowers for him. I will, do this for them. No. We're moving away from focusing on complaining and what's going wrong to be better. And now approaching this is what I want to create. That's what I'm going to think of. Because the power of the vibration of thought and feeling into a belief system is so much more than you know. And that's coming in 2021. So let's set that intent. December 20th, my ask for you, no complaining. Just drop it off and say, I'm going to give to myself what I'm attracted to today. And you know what I mean when I say do that in a healthy way. If it's like I'm attracted to eating the whole cake, that's going to hurt your body. Please don't do that. But if you're like, I'm attracted to eating a piece of cake, okay, go for it. Like, you know what I'm talking about. I'm not asking you to go to far extremes where you're damaging yourself again. So give to you what you're attracted to. Then when we come into 21st, where the solstice is, you can then say, I've tried this on. I've practiced. I want to, dive into this new way of manifesting where I'm focusing only on that which I want to attract and creating a belief system around it. And then you can pare that down or boil it down to like your career, your family, your relationships, your new relationships, whatever you're bringing in, your relationship with energy for finances or for health or for whatever. So that's going to be really important. And you can do a really wonderful ritual or ceremony if you're really into that. I think they're fun. And I hope that makes sense. That is my energy update for December. I hope I don't know. I was going to say, I hope it makes you go, oh, we are moving forward, because it's felt like so much, but it's different moving forward. It can be uneasy moving forward, but there are very beautiful things ahead of you. Okay. Is that good?
Yes, that was great, Maitland. You have a couple of questions, and we have about 3 minutes.
Okay.
So can I ask you a couple of them? There was one question about sleep, and is with this energy shift, is that why we're having so much difficulty with our sleep? And then earlier at the beginning too, you had mentioned dreams, and I've noticed in my own life, and maybe others have as well, that oftentimes when these dreams are so realistic and vibrant, they actually wake you up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Big time. So the majority of the people on Earth are having very intense dreams and disturbed sleep patterns because their vibrations are increasing as they're getting into their subconscious. Think about it like when we're awake, we're using 5% of our conscious awareness. And let's say we're doing very good focusing on that 5%, and we're increasing its vibration, and we have 95% of this undercurrent when we go to sleep, we tap into all of that quite naturally. And this needs to be raised up. And so that happens while you're resting, which translates into dreams, deep dreams, real dreams, waking you up dreams, disturbing your sleep stuff, because that energy is trying to increase its vibration and balance out. That's about, oh, then the other portion of people are saying, what, it's 6 o'clock? I'm tired. And they're out for like 12 hours.
It's like 6 p.m. is the new midnight.
Yes. And then they wake up at 5 a.m. They're like, why am I up so early? Ugh, they had just had 11 hours of the deepest sleep ever. And they're like, man, I feel great. But next night, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 7:30. You're like, oh, I must be sick if I'm going to bed so early. I need so much sleep. Am I sick? And then they start to manifest like sickness. No, you're not sick. It's because the way that you're increasing your vibration, you want to do more of the work. You got to get into the subconscious. And I'm telling you, the easiest way to do that is to sleep. So you're doing it through deep sleep and you're doing the work down there, or you're the one who's like, I need to know and I need to stay in control and I want to be aware of this. And then so when you fall asleep, you are bringing up your dream state as you're working on your subconscious, and boy, that'll wake you up. It'll level out later. It's going to be several months later. Go ahead.
So right now, just for clarity, are you saying this is part of the work right now that we're doing?
Mm-hmm.
Is the work at night, the work during the day, the lack of sleep?
Yep.
Yeah. And there was another question about how this shift is affecting electronics, because I think a lot of people have noticed that electronics are being affected, similar to like when Mercury is retrograde. Or is that just us?
Like when
is
we
that
were
actually happening?
when we were in our class the other day and the computer and the internet and everything kept turning off.
Yes, exactly.
Well, because mass consciousness is increasing, it is that awareness in and of itself that's disturbing the electrical current. You yourself are an electrical current. You are. And there's electricity in the air, just like Tesla said. All of this is alive. But we've taught ourselves not to engage with it, so we don't believe in it, and it's not happening for us, but it's there. So when you're increasing, and then the next neighbor, and then the whole city, and then the whole state, and the whole country, and the whole globe, increasing, now it's interfering with the electrical current. Like electricity is going to change on Earth. I've been saying for 4 years, make sure you have enough food and enough water for all your animals, for all your kids, for all your people in your house for at least a week. Because the electrical grid on Earth stinks. And it's going to like shut off, close off for like the craziest of things. A branch fell. Somebody sneezed. Like 2 regions away from you, like what are those things called that hold the electricity bus? Like a fuse? Oh, Transformer. Ooh. And then now nobody has electricity. So that is going to go down. And just, I don't want you to have to struggle with just keeping up with those changes on Earth. New technology is coming in. Energy will be free. You won't be paying for it. It's free. You've been held down way too long, but that's another conversation. Just like food is free, but whatever. Was that, did I answer the question?
Yes, you did.
I want to thank you so much for letting me do the YouTube live stream for December Energy Update 2020. And I would like to hear if you enjoy the live updates or if you like the pre-recorded versions.
I think at the beginning, a lot of people said they liked the live and they really appreciated you doing this today. So thank you for the idea.
I like this a lot. You're welcome. And I'll see you later, alligators.
After a while, crocodile.
I heard them say it too. I'll see you soon, baboon.
Bye-bye, butterfly.
Tulu, kangaroo.
Hasta mañana, iguana.
Oh, I like that one so much.
Going.
I'll see you in the morning, unicorn.
Blew you a kiss, jellyfish.
I got a jaguar hog.
Oh, Maitland, I'm drowning. No one's helping me.
Bye.
Bye, sweetie. We'll see you later.
Okay. I like this so much.